and we're looking for the person best qualified to represent us as city councilor and make a measurable difference in our city. Please remember, you have 1.5 minutes per question, except for our last question where you'll have 3 minutes. You will be signaled when there are 15 seconds left to conclude your response. And please remember to refrain from discussing your opponents. It's a job interview. We just want to hear from you. Question number 1. This is the tough one. Please introduce yourself to the committee and tell us why you're running for city council.
Right. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for hosting us this evening. I'm Cynthia Borrego, and I'm running for city council in District 5. I am running because I have not been very happy with the direction that our city has been going in. I retired from the city in 2010 as a city planner, and I was a city planner for over 28 years in Albuquerque and Bernalillo County. I graduated from the University of New Mexico with a master's degree in public administration. I started a second master's in community and regional planning. My dream was actually to be an attorney, and my marriage changed that direction a little bit. I was born and raised in New Mexico, and I intend to probably die in New Mexico. So I'm looking forward to changing the vision of our city, because I don't think that there's a clear vision as far as where our city is headed. I think that we need to have a clear vision as a community, both from the business sector and from the neighborhood community sector. I think it's important that we all move forward together, because Albuquerque can truly become a world-class city. We are right now on the sort of verge of...
Thank you. We'll find out about the verge in a moment, I think. Question number 2. Identify businesses or industries that you think are most important to Albuquerque's economy, and please tell us specifically what you would do to support them.
Well, I think that we need to look to our high-tech industries. I think that we need to look to our base. We need to look to Los Alamos National Labs and the university. I think that they can assist us in improving our technology. When they put art in, and I know that's something on everyone's mind, they included fiber optics. And I think that infrastructure is really important, because that is what's going to set the tone for our city to expand and to attract new businesses. In addition to that, I think that we need to look to clean energy. We need to look to solar and wind. We have those resources, and I don't feel like we are utilizing them enough. I think small businesses are the cornerstone of our industry, our economy, and I say that as a small business owner.
Thank you. If the city experiences a budget deficit or a decline in revenue, as it has in the recent past, what would you propose to balance the budget, and over what time frame would it be implemented?
Could you repeat?
Sure. If the city experiences a budget deficit or a decline in revenue, as it has in the recent past, what would you propose to balance the budget, and over what time frame would it be implemented?
Well, I'll answer the time frame, because if elected to city council, I would only have 4 years. But I think that we need to think into the future, even as councilors, even if we only serve 4 years. We need to set policy for the future. If the budget deficit continues, as it has in the state of New Mexico, we have to be creative and innovative as to working with other agencies to create projects. I'm not sure that you are all fully aware, but I already am an elected official on the AMAFCA board. And I didn't want to take too much time earlier, but we just dedicated a drainage project on the west side of town that we've been working on for many, many years. We completed one of the phases, which is the final phase in that project, but we worked with other agencies. We worked with the city, the county, the Department of Transportation, with the private sector and completed this project. It's if any of you care to look at it, it's on 98th and the freeway. And we need more projects that are partnerships in that vein.
What about Albuquerque keeps you up at night? And what exactly are you going to do to help yourself sleep better?
I'm so glad you asked that question. I have knocked on probably over 3,500 doors. My tennis shoes literally have holes in them. I keep hearing the same thing over and over. Crime, crime, I'm living in fear. I'm greeted at people's homes by 4 or 5 dogs, and then eventually the property owner opens the door. I think people are living in fear, and I think that that's an issue that we have to focus on as a community, and that should go across any line. It doesn't matter if it's a business or a residential or a Democrat or a Republican. We have to address that issue.
What exactly would you do?
Well, I have a 5-point plan to address crime, and I can outline that to you, but I would also like to tell you that I am humbled, and I am so full of gratitude because I have been endorsed by the police and the fire and FOP as well, which are the retired police. My crime plan involves additional police on the street, and I want to see that immediately. The second piece of that was new leadership, a new chief, and that's already been taken care of, so we need to look to the next tier. And
we'll continue with the conversation about crime with our next question. How will you measure your success in reducing crime in Albuquerque? And specifically, at what point in your term will you expect to reach a certain measurable outcome?
I would measure my success by the community, by looking at the statistics from the police department to ensure that those statistics are going down. Because if you take a look at the police website, there is crime data on there, and the west side, most of the crime data is related to theft and burglary of autos. So I would look to that immediately to see that there has been a reduction in terms of the timing. We're not going to perform miracles as city councilors, but we are going to do the best we can for our district and for the city. And I think that I would look to the community to give me feedback as well.
Thank you. How specifically would you change and reallocate city resources and personnel to achieve your goals?
Well, I would first of all, I would say that I would work specifically with the new mayor, whoever that may be, to ensure that the services, the basic services, are being received by the public, and that includes police, fire, refuse, all of the basic services that we expect and we should expect. In addition to that, we need to look for programs that are not successful in the budget. And I'm the only candidate that has worked with the budget, the city budget. So it wouldn't take me long to go back in there and take a look at the budget and determine where some of those programs that have failed us are.
What is your position on the mandated sick leave issue? Please include whether or not you would like to see it apply to unions, small businesses, nonprofits, and those companies that already have a sick leave or PTO policy.
I support the ordinance, but I do also believe that because I am a business owner and I grew up in business. My family was in business our entire life. My grandfather was in business, so I understand business. I think that everyone needs to come to the table on that issue. I don't think that it should be passed by a small group and just a few people that support it. I think businesses have to buy into that, and I think businesses are probably, they're not ogres. Business owners are not ogres. I mean, we want to see our employees be happy and healthy and lead a productive life. This is a community for all of us. And so I see that issue as possibly a town hall, revisiting the issue, coming together, taking the line in the sand out of the line in the sand and working together collaboratively. That's what I would like to see happen.
Final question. In 3 minutes or less, please tell the hiring committee why you believe you are the best candidate to represent the people of Albuquerque as city councilor.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for having me here tonight, and to the coalition, thank you for hosting this again. I believe that I am the best candidate because I have the experience. I've worked in City Hall. I know how it operates. I know how the budget operates. I have a working relationship already with police and fire. I sit on the AMAFCA board. And for people who don't know what that is, I'm on the flood control board and I am an elected official. So I have already shown to the public that I'm working responsibly within our constraints of our budget for AMAFCA. We are creating opportunity for people to be employed. We hire a number of contractors. And so I understand, how important our economy is to New Mexico. I was also raised here, so I have a passion for New Mexico. As I mentioned earlier, I'm probably intending that I won't leave. I'm not planning to leave. It's sad that our millennials are leaving. And I think that it's really important that we work with our university to ensure that we start bringing industry to New Mexico that can create jobs and that will keep our young people once they graduate in New Mexico. I had the opportunity to leave several times. I was offered a job in Georgetown, Texas. I was offered a job in Los Angeles as a city planner. I decided not to take those opportunities, and I stayed in New Mexico. And I had a stellar career. I am proud of my career. I managed a budget of $50 million. I also managed a $1 million revolving loan fund, which helped to clean up the railroad yards. And we also cleaned up Albuquerque High. And that was all under my watch. I also worked on I-25, Paseo Interchange. I was on the design team. So I have the experience, and that's partly why I'm running. The other part of why I'm running is because I see the children, and I think, what kind of opportunity are they going to have if we continue on the path that we're headed in? And I think that we, as a community, deserve, they deserve from us as a community to give them a future. And I'm not just saying that as I'm not your typical politician, because I haven't really been a politician. I have been involved in working with City Hall and county and state. And so I also am interested in the private sector. I am in the private sector right now. My business sits on Central Avenue. I know what it feels like.
Thank you very much. The hiring committee, the voters in Albuquerque, will let you know on November 14th if you've been selected.
Thank you all. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.